Good morning. We're going to be talking about rates, ratios, and proportions. There are three different definitions on your notes, and your learning target is that I can find a rate, ratio, or proportion in life. So a ratio is a comparison of two quantities by division. So when you see a ratio, you might say that there are 2 apples compared to 3 oranges. You sometimes might see it with a colon, 2 to 3, but notice it's simplified. If you had 2 to 4, you would have to simplify it to 1 to 2. A proportion is a statement of two ratios that are equivalent. So again, it's two fractions that equal each other. So a proportion might be something like x over 7 equals 2 over 14. And then you'd be able to solve it. Notice there's an equal sign. You must have an equal sign with a proportion, equivalent. It must have an equal sign. And a unit rate is a rate where the second quantity is 1. So again, it's a rate, so it's a fraction. But your second quantity is 1. You might have 2 miles in 1 hour. Notice this is a 1. So let's go ahead. First thing we're going to do is talk about unit price, which is very similar to unit rate, something you see more often. Think about the grocery store. Every single one of these tags that you see, they have a unit price on it. It is always the price per ounce. The money is always on the top. Here, this one's saying that the total price is $2.40 for 12 ounces. Well, if I wanted to find the unit price of my oat bran cereal, I would say, well, $2.40 is for 12 ounces. If I divided them both by 12, 2.4 divided by 12 is going to be what? It's going to be 0.2 or 20 cents per 1 ounce. And if you look up here, it had that. That's how they got their unit price. So let's go ahead and let's do some. It says the ratio of students to teachers. Notice how it says students to, this right here is my fraction bar, teachers. So I'm going to write that, students to teachers at Upper St. Clair School District is about 16 to 1. So 2 again is here. Notice the 16 came first and the students came first. So I'm going to write 16 to, and since teachers came second and the 1 came second, they both are in the denominator, 16 to 1. There are 1,447 students at Upper St. Clair, according, and this is to a census. How many students does the district employ? And I'm sorry, this should say how many teachers does the district employ? And yours is correct. So I want to figure this out. I'm going to go ahead and let's see. Students was in the top. I know that there were 1,447 students. I want to know how many teachers that is. So I'm going to call that X. Well, these are equivalent fractions. I'm going to go ahead and make it a proportion. So I'm going to make them equal to each other. Now let's think about it. 16. Does anybody remember to cross multiply? Well, what's 1 times, notice we had our equal sign though. 1 times 1,447 is 1,447 equals 16 times x, or 16x. Divide both sides by 16, and you end up with 90.4 equals x. So your answer is about, you can't have 0.4 of a teacher. So it's about 90 teachers. And this is probably not in the whole district if you think about it. I'm sure this is just one of the schools. Let's go to number 2. Now, I'm sure you've heard of Nathan's hot dog eating contest. I think they show it every 4th of July. It's really crazy. But this year, in Nathan's hot dog eating competition, which was held on the 4th of July, Joey Chestnut, this is true, he ate 62 hot dogs in 10 minutes. In 2007, he ate 66 hot dogs in 12 minutes. I want to find the unit rates for 2007 and 2011, and that's the now. And compare which year he ate more hot dogs per minute. Let's do 2011 first. So in 2011, he ate 62 hot dogs in 10 minutes. So I'm going to label it 62 hot dogs per 10 minutes. If I want to make it a unit rate, I need to make the denominator equal to 1. So 10 divided by 10 will make it 1. Divide the top by 10. And I'm going to get 62 divided by 10 is 6.2 hot dogs per 1 minute. And this is true. Ooh, that's so gross. Let's find out in 2007 what he did. In 2007, he had 66 hot dogs in 12 minutes. Did he improve? Let's find out. Divide both by 12. And 66 divided by 12 is going to be 5.5 hot dogs per 1 minute. Well, now it says compare which year he ate more. Ooh, gross. So I would say in 2011, Joey ate more hot dogs per minute. And that sentence is your answer. Now there's something called the cross product property, and it's something we talked about already. It's in a proportion. Remember, proportions have equal sign. Cross products are equal. So if you have 2/3 equals 4/6, 2 times 6 equals 3 times 4. And because 12 equals 12. So essentially, notice your denominators cannot equal 0 because you can't divide by 0. So for this first one, number 3 in your note sheet, I always start here. I draw my arrows. -5 times 8 equals 2 times y. -5 times 8, we know, is -40, equals 2y. Divide both sides by 2, you get -20 equals y. Pretty awesome. Now number 4. We have this whole quantity. Anytime you are multiplying a quantity, put parentheses. Write yourself a star. Anytime you multiply a quantity, you must put parentheses around it. And think about it, if you're multiplying this whole thing by 4, you have to distribute. Because if you write this down, the commutative property says 4 times the quantity g plus 3 equals your 5 times 7, which 5 times 7 we know is 35. Yay! Now we get to distribute. 4 times g is 4g. 4 times positive 3 is plus 3 equals 35. Now we subtract 3 from both sides. We get 4g equals this is 12, not 3. So subtract 12 from both sides. So 35 minus 12 is 23. Divide both sides by 4. And guys, it's okay to have a fraction as your answer. So you would say g equals 23 over 4, which is the same thing as 4 goes into 23 5 times, and there are 3 left over. Questions? All right, that's all we are going to do for the first day. Tomorrow we're going to talk about conversion factors. So you can go ahead and get started on your homework. Make sure though, when you're solving a proportion and you're multiplying a quantity times a number, to distribute.